admittedly, today's video is going to be a little controversial. Many regular viewers of my channel know that I'm generally known as somebody that's, let's politely call it fiscally conservative. Some people might even call it frugal. And you know what? Wealthy people don't get wealthy by wasting money. And that's really what today's video is about is, stop spending money on things that aren't bringing joy in your life. Now, I normally do not do videos that are prescriptive, that say, thou should do this and that. And that's not the spirit that I share this video, but I think there's a balance. And I think a lot of us, it's just so easy. We're being marketed to and advertised to buy more stuff. And how many Amazon boxes do we have? And, we have all this clutter in our house. And is it really bringing us joy? Rich people don't get rich. People that prepare for a successful and a comfortable retirement don't get that way by spending money foolishly. In fact, it's interesting that 2/3 of the people that use coupons are people that make over $100,000 a year. And you know what? I'm guilty as charged. I do like my coupons. In fact, I was just using coupons last night at the grocery store, and I enjoy doing that. Another thing, people that are students of getting ready to retire, there's a retirement strategy called 50-30-20. You spend 50% of your money on needs. You spend 30% on your money on wants. So needs would be like your rent, your utility, your car payment, fuel for your car, things like that. 30% on your wants, things like vacations. This is a nice jacket. I don't need a new jacket, but that would fall into a want. If I was going to get a new jacket, even though I have a perfectly good one. And then the other 20% is for savings. I wish that saving 10% was enough, but the reality is, in our parents' age, saving 10% probably was enough because they had Social Security. Hopefully we're going to have Social Security as well. They had their own savings, but you know what a lot of them had that we don't have? Many of them had pensions from the companies that they worked for. And you know what? Those are just a thing of the past now. So saving 10% in today's world's not enough. So that's the 50-30-20 rule. But I have a rule that I call the 30-40-50 rule. And that doesn't add up to 100. But the 30 is the percent of wealthy people, the percent of rich people. People, I believe the survey was with $5 million or more. The percent of those folks that shop at Walmart is 30%. 40% is the percent of people with $5 million or more that, in addition to shopping at Walmart, also shop at Target. And the 50%, and this is going to shock you, the 50%, it's 50% of people with over $5 million shop at Costco. And why is that? Well, it's, most wealthy people, like 80% of wealthy people, are not born wealthy. They become wealthy because of the choices that they make in their lives. And most of the wealthy people are what I call the saver investors. They've saved money. Again, it's not enough just to save money. You also have to invest it. Compounding works both ways. If you don't beat inflation, you know what? Compounding works against you. Each year you have less and less money. But the magic of compounding happens when you start saving more than inflation, and now inflation's working in your favor. And over time, your money starts working harder for you than you're working for your money. Okay, let's keep going. So, for me personally, and I'm just sharing my personal experiences, what spending brings me joy? I love spending money on adventures, on maybe traveling to a new country and learning about a new culture, or some of my hobbies. Those of you that know, in my 50s, I had always wanted to learn to surf, so I invested in some money and I took some surfing lessons. When I was younger, I used to hang glide, and I invested some money in that equipment and good safety equipment. Fortunately, I never needed to use it, but I find investing in adventures, for me, brings me joy. And spending money on my family, helping out my two daughters, I have two adult daughters, helping them out brings me a lot of joy. Spending time and money on relationships helps me out. And then frankly, above that, spending money on things that make me money brings me a lot of joy. And I think many of us fall into that same category. And people that have saved money and have saved enough for a comfortable retirement, you know, for sure on the looking at money as a way to make money, spending money on investments, things that are going to make them money, for sure that's a trait that we have in common. And I think a lot of those folks also say, you know, I don't need a lot of stuff. That's not what brings me joy. So what are some other things that people that have been successful in building wealth do spend their money on? They spend their money on increasing their skill set. When I was 17 years old, do you know what my job was? In the summer, I started off, I was landscaping for the city. But I found out that the garbage men, when the garbage was done, picked up for the day, the guys on the back of the truck, what we called the packer, at the end of their shift, when they had picked up all the trash, they got to go home. And if they could pick up all the trash in 3 hours, they still got paid for 8 hours. So, you know, that was a low labor, high effort job. I went home tired. And frankly, it made it easier when I was in college to sit in the library and study and to skill up. And so another area that people that have saved for retirement on is just skilling up. And it doesn't have to be college. There's a huge shortage of craftsmen, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, and even skilling up, you know, with something that takes just a couple months to get good at, like, you know, going from being a worker in a retail store to being a phlebotomist or a certified nursing assistant. One of my daughters did that. It took her about a month, and she went from making minimum wage to making 3 or 4 times minimum wage. So skilling up. The other thing I want you to be cautious on is your information diet. Who do you surround yourself with? Who are your mentors? Do you have people in your life that are helping you kind of that are showing you the path? And for me, when I was a kid, frankly, those were vinyl records from the library of Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, and folks like that. And hopefully videos like this, if not me, other people, where, you know, control your information diet so that the information you're putting into your head is positive and is the speaker, the protagonist, is working to share information that is going to make people better people as opposed to berating people. So that's another one. And then the last thing I want to talk about is, I just want to read here. Yeah, is don't overcomplicate it. Saving for retirement, building your wealth really comes down to just a couple fundamentals. No matter how much money you're making, spend less than what you make. It's not enough to save. You also have to invest. You have to get better than the rate of inflation. So it's spend less than what you earn. And then I kind of somewhat jovially say, spend less than what you earn, number 1. Number 2, 1 house. And number 3, 1 spouse. Spend less than you earn, 1 house, 1 spouse. Hopefully this video has been helpful. I also want you to watch this video here, which talks about 5 reasons to retire as soon as you can. You're working hard for your money, and I want you to enjoy it. So I'll see you in that video. Bye-bye.